and welcome to another episode of Brooklyn's World. In this episode I wanted to explore the world of fibromyalgia again. Now this has come up because after 7 years and 5 months since my diagnosis, I have finally been accepted into a fibromyalgia clinic, and I cannot tell you how happy I am about this. When I was first diagnosed 4 months after my lupus diagnosis, I was told about this clinic, but at the time I was ineligible as my diagnosis was too new, and this clinic is generally used for people who are the last resort where all other treatments had failed. My time had finally come because my rheumatologist had told me they just did not know what to do with me anymore. Usually I'm mad when I hear those words from doctors, but this time I was happy. I was booked for 3 months' time, but then COVID hit. To cut a long story short, my appointment got cancelled twice. I absolutely cracked it. I was so mad and so upset. I couldn't believe that this clinic that I was so close to being able to go to, that I'd waited for so many years, the whole plan was just falling apart around me. I made a complaint to the hospital saying this is ridiculous. I am in pain and nobody can seem to help me. Luckily the hospital did respond, and after a few weeks they did allow me to be able to go to the hospital in person and be seen at the fibromyalgia clinic. So come on a little journey with me. So I'm just driving down to the Big Smoke at the moment, where I live in a country town. There isn't huge restrictions there at the moment, but down in the city they are at stage 3 lockdown, and it's really strange because I'm driving and I'm only 45 minutes away from home at the moment, but there are no cars. I have hardly seen a car for this entire 45 minutes coming down this way, whereas usually there are cars everywhere, and it's just surreal. It's just very weird and eerie. I'm expecting that I'm going to get stopped at some stage before I enter into the lockdown zone, because they're going to want to know, why are you coming here? And in this case it is because I finally have my fibromyalgia appointment tomorrow, so I am looking forward to that. So I've been driving for about an hour and a half now, and I am well and truly within the city suburbs and well and truly within the area that is under stage 3 lockdown, and I got here without getting stopped at all. So it seems like you can just freely drive in and out between lockdown and not lockdown areas of the state, and that's it. I don't personally see the point of having lockdowns and restrictions on people when you can still go wherever you want and not be stopped or questioned. So I have arrived where I'm staying for the night, but I do need to go out to the shops, which is just basically across the road. So I thought that I would mask up to make sure that I was all protected from any of the germs that are down here. I need this sign permanently put around my house to not only say "Stay Strong Victoria," but to say "Stay Strong Brooklyn." I look like a bit of a hoodlum walking around the streets like this, but it's just what I need to do. And if I'm going to do it in any mask, I'm so glad that I've got my military grade mask that will keep me protected from everything. So after the long drive that I've had today, I've actually got quite sore ankles. This isn't necessarily unusual. It usually happens every time that I've gone on a bit of a long drive. I think just from having to use the accelerator and brake for an extended amount of time. But I have found that if I use my TENS machine, then I'm able to take away some of the discomfort that my ankles are feeling, and usually just using the TENS machine is enough that I don't need to be going and taking painkillers, which for me, because I seem to always be taking some sort of medication, if I can avoid having to take any extra medication, then that's definitely the way that I like to go on. So I just put the little pads on where I am hurting or where I want the pulses to go, and then just press on
the little proby bits, which are connected to my little machine. Basically, just turn it on, and as you can see, I've got it set onto my leg and wide, so that means that it's going all over the pad at the time. Now that runs for about 10 minutes or so, and then it turns itself off. You can have another 10 minutes with it, but that is the time frame that is the maximum that they like you to have it. It's kind of a weird sensation, kind of like a tingly, and it can sometimes make, when I have it down here on my ankles, can sometimes make my feet jerk a little bit, but overall I pretty much just sit here for a while and let it do its thing. That's it. So at times it can be a little bit annoying that I can't just put the TENS pads and set up the machine just wherever I want on whatever is hurting at the time. There are some days where I would just love to stick it on my back and let it work its magic, but I can't do that. So I've just had to learn to adapt, learn to accept that there are certain things that I can't do with it, as pretty much is my life. I can't do everything that I want or wish to be able to do, and I just make the most of it. It is what it is, and we'll just run with it. Just waiting for my appointment. So I've just left my appointment and it was very interesting, very informative, and we have a new plan of attack to try to get some of my pain, especially my hands, under control. And I also possibly have a reason why my hands are so affected, so at least things are starting to make a bit more sense now.
After my clinic visit, I was so overwhelmed with information. I've needed nearly 2 weeks to be able to process it all. The clinic was so beneficial for me, and I think what also helped was a rheumatologist had seemed to have read my entire hospital file, so I didn't need to go through my whole history. She seemed to understand and she listened to me. She also seemed to be wanting to help me, as there were things that I was already doing to aid in my own treatment, which were things that she would have been suggesting anyway. And because of this, it seemed like she really was taking me seriously about my treatment, and that I was willing to be a good patient and help in my treatment as well. It was clear from the beginning of the appointment of why I'd been accepted into this clinic. I truly had exhausted all of the usual options, and now it was time to ramp things up a bit. The following slides are headings of the information I was given at the Fibromyalgia Clinic. The information is very general, as the information I was given at the clinic was just for me. I don't want to be telling others what to do or recommending any sorts of treatments or plans, as I know that everybody is different, everybody thinks different, and everybody reacts differently to different treatments. First, we went through the basics of fibromyalgia. And how pain works with fibromyalgia. discussion on management. Then came something I was not expecting. By the end of my appointment, which in the end took an hour and a half, I had a new treatment plan, a new referral, a new medication, and a whole new outlook on this terrible condition. All hope is not lost for me battling this condition. Thank you again for watching another episode of Brooklyn's World. I hope that this has been semi-useful to anybody who has fibromyalgia. I wish everybody the best out there. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time.